Was the Grand Canyon a result of massive flooding from ice melting?
All right, so this is a hot debate among creationists because we've got two schools of thought. One of the schools of thought is that the Grand Canyon was eroded by the floodwaters as they were coming off the continent. I think there's several problems with that. I do believe it was from ice age, ice melt, but not as you think of like the Lake Missoula flood. That was an ice dam break. I think much more likely is that you had this Great Lakes, the Hopi Lakes. They're bigger than our Great Lakes of today. And that because of tectonic movement, because of earthquakes, that dam breached. And that's what cut the Grand Canyon. I think it was by a piping break, dam breach. It wouldn't have been by floodwaters overtopping that dam. That was a slower process. You start getting, then you're getting flow only as fast as you've got flow coming in. But if you bust it down at the bottom by an earthquake, you poke a hole in the bottom of the pool, that water is going to come out a lot faster than you're just pouring in too much water and it's spilling over the top of the pool. That would be such a rapid dam breach that you would get a Grand Canyon that not only would form, it would form a V shape as the Grand Canyon is. It would cut down into the metamorphic rock, igneous rock, down at the bottom below the unconformity, because it would be traveling at such a faster velocity than just if it was a spilling over or if it was the floodwaters receding off the continents. And it would explain why we can't find the sediment that was in the Grand Canyon. You ought to have at the end of a gully, whenever I do gully erosion research, you can see the sediment fan at the end of the gully. You don't find that in the Grand Canyon, and at the end, it makes this kind of 90-degree turn. So I think it was because of ice melt waters, but it wasn't a flood event like the Missoula flood. I think it was a much different event. And I've talked to more than one creation scientist who have spoken to the Hopi Native Americans, the Hopi Indians, and they have a tradition that they say that they lived around a lake, that they came in from the north, settled around a lake. Well, there's no lake there now. They settled around a lake, and one day they heard an explosion and the ground shook and the water disappeared, and they followed it into the canyon. That fits perfectly with, I think, what took place. So anyway, that's kind of
that's really interesting.
I think it is.
Sorry, can you say that again, Glenn? That end bit.
That there's the two creation theories as to what took place, but I think the one that's much more supported by erosion dynamics, as well as the Hopi Indians tradition that they've passed down, I think fits with, there was giant lakes there from ice waters, ice age waters, and that they breached because of a earthquake, and it caused piping. It caused a fracture in the dam, and it would have just massively, suddenly.
Well, generally, the best science we've got, Glenn, is observations of people who were there.
Yes.
Yep. 100%.